All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakak double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a lesson on what you women are going to have to humbly answer, not with arrogance and pride, right? All you women out there are going to have to actually humbly answer this question in your lifetime if you are going to be on this earth during the day of the Lord. And it's whether a woman can actually truly live a completely feminine women's dream life, what they hope to live, right, without a man. And first off, when talking about this, and the reason why I'm going into this is because it's my belief through all the doctrine that I've heard from the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, right, from things that I've heard brothers say, elders say, apostles say, right, that we're basically down here on this earth right now learning on how to be a ruler, man. We're going through all these things that we're doing, we're making all these mistakes, right? And people say all that we was kings bullshit. I'm not worried about. We're learning to be kings on this earth. We're literally, I've heard people call it God training. I've heard people say it's like Yahweh's apprenticeship, the Most High's apprenticeship, God's apprenticeship, and it is. What we're on this earth right now is literally learning how to be a ruler. So when we consider all the things that are in the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that everyone eventually is going to be bound to keeping this law, right? The Hebrew Israelites are going to be connected to the laws of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai via the new covenant, meaning that they can never break them, right? And the heathen nations are going to be connected to the law because that's going to become the moral code of the whole earth, and they are going to be judged according to that everywhere that people breathe. You understand? Anywhere that people are breathing and you consider a human being and you're breathing and you're alive, you're going to be connected and ruled and judged according to the laws of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, right? So if you're on another planet, are you breathing there? Okay, you're going to be judged by the laws of Yahweh. Or you're in another city, or you think you're bound by something else because you're in another country. Are you breathing over there? Okay, you're judged by the law then. That's what it's going to be everywhere that humans are alive, forever. From once the kingdom of heaven is established, people are going to be connected to the laws of Yahweh. If it's a place that's a planet 20 gajillion light years away from Earth, right? And you're thinking, oh, okay, we're gonna establish our own community over here. No, you're not. You're gonna be bound to the laws of Yahweh, and the Israelites are gonna be in charge of that place too. You even ain't gonna have no new place that you can try. Oh, we want to build our own society and govern ourselves. No, the Heavenly Father is governing the whole earth. Let us hear the whole conclusion. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And really, when you look that word up, it would ultimately be going into, for this is the whole duty of mankind. The Hebrew Israelites the nation of Israel are going to be given the fear of Yahweh via the new covenant. The heathen nations are going to learn the fear of Yahweh through the Hebrew Israelites, the Israelite nation, ruling over them with a rod of iron. Right now, I've said all of that to say this: all you women out there, you're going to have to consider, because we look at the laws, and I've said everything I just said, right? So it speaks in the Bible about how a man is above a woman. Now, you as women should be thinking why it says that, because you might have all your plans and all your rebellions that you want to have against men, but can you actually get the lifestyle that you care to have without a man? Now, let me read a scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach. So if you ask men, can they truly have the lifestyle that they want to have, especially the Israelite man? Can he truly have the lifestyle that he wants to have without Yahweh Shai? The correct and most honest answer and the true answer and the humble answer is no, we cannot. Right? We cannot do it. We cannot have the lifestyle that we want to have without Yahweh Shai. We can't have it, right? And the head of every woman is the man. So can women have the lifestyle that they want to have without men? Well, the correct answer and the humble answer and the true answer is no, they can't. Now, women out there will say they don't need no man and all of this, right? Okay, let's run through that, right? The majority of the reasons why women in this world, the fastest and the most like highest percentage rate of how women make money in this world is by some kind of method of them showing their body off, right? That requires men, right? No matter what you want to say, that requires men to be the customer. So even in something as clear as day as that, you women need men, because women ain't gonna pay you to see your body. So even in that regard, you need men. Now, if you ask men if they need women to have the most fun lifestyle that a man would need, or that a man would desire, are women a part of the most enjoyable lifestyle that a man would have? Absolutely, because the men are gonna want to sleep with the women in part of what he considers his dream life. But if we ask you women that question, you're gonna try and say no, because you're not sincere, you're not humble, you're not honest. But then when you actually review and see the main things that women actually require, like desire in this world, all these crazy yachts, these crazy supercars, and all of these things, it seems to me that even when women get access to money to be able to buy some of these things, they still don't want to buy it for themselves. They'd still rather have a man buy it for them. So therefore, they still need men, right? They still need men in order to get the kind of lifestyle that they are claiming that they want to have. Most of these crazy lifestyles where these women are asking for a man to have to make all these ridiculous amounts of money a year, ridiculous amounts of money a month, right? Why can't the woman get their lifestyle themselves? Most of them that talk about this, they can't seem to get that lifestyle themselves, and yet for all that, they're still not humble towards the men that they want to pay for everything in their lifestyle. Whereas us as men, we desire to be immortal, right? We desire to have multiple wives. If you're a person out there that you don't want to have multiple wives and you want to be in the kingdom with one wife, you can do that if you want to. But you still desire to be in the kingdom of heaven if you're an Israelite. Do we say, oh, we don't need no Yahweh Shai to get that? We can get it ourselves. I'm going to build the kingdom myself. Do we say that? No, we don't. We understand we need Yahweh, and we understand we need Yahweh Shai to get the lifestyle that we desire. Right? So for all you Christians out there, you always claim we put the Messiah at the back of the doctrine. We don't talk about the Messiah. You're liars. You're not telling the truth about the Hebrew Israelites, and you're going to have to consider why you're lying about us. If we're truly as evil as you say, just tell the truth about everything that we teach. Oh yeah, them Hebrew Israelites are racist, but they actually do teach that people can be a so-called white person and be an Israelite. Oh, but they're racist according to skin color. That wouldn't work, would it? For your smear campaign, if you told the truth. Oh, them Hebrew Israelites are hateful. But I was watching the live stream on the last Saturday, and a little kid came up to these men and was smiling with them and waving with them, and they were just waving with the little kid, smiling with the little kid and the person's mom. The mom wasn't scared of them, right? The kid was coming over and giving them high fives, wanting to hug them. A random kid that they don't know from nowhere, and the mom's there, and the mom's not scared, saying, "Oh, get away from the monsters." But that wouldn't work for your smear campaign, would it? Everyone says that these guys are wicked and these guys are that, but literally every single person that's came up against them, I've ended up seeing majority of them be guilty of what they accused them men of. That wouldn't work if you actually told the truth, right? That wouldn't work if you told the truth, man. 1 second, Salakia. It wouldn't work if you told the truth on that doctrine, would it? On what you've actually seen. So therefore, you're all having to lie. But why are you lying for? If it's truly the case now, 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 11. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman. So men, do we need women in our life? Yeah. Women have got a use. Women are necessary, but women are the main ones trying to make it like men are not needed at all for anything. Yet every single place where they point their eyes, all of the houses that they live in, men built them. When they go and want a fancy car, a man designed that car, more than likely, and a man made the car, and they're gonna want a man to buy them the car, right? And the fuel that goes in the car is made through processes that men do. You understand? The driver that brings the fuel to the petrol station is a man, the majority of the time. 99 times out of 100, to just use a random stat out there, it's gonna be a man. When something breaks down in a house, it's either gonna be your man the majority of the times that fixes it, or you're gonna call a plumber, you're gonna call an electrician, you're gonna call a carpenter, bricklayer, plumber, whatever you're gonna call, and guess who's gonna show up? A man. You understand? When the water goes down and the lights go out in certain places of the world, okay, it's gonna be men that get it back on. Yet women will try and say they don't need men all the time. Yet every single thing that they ask and that they want, they have to cry and complain in men's ears to try and get men to change the laws to allow it to happen. So be humble, because we're not saying as men that we don't need Yahweh Shai. If it ain't for Yahweh Shai dying for my sins, I'm dead, mate. I'll be dead, man. Like they ain't no, mate. Nah. But if you out there, you think you've got it right, and you might think, oh, your sin isn't as mocked by the world, so you're okay. Oh, I was only an adulterer. I'm only an adulterer. Oh, I'm an LG3T, and that's legal in this society, so I'm not actually sinning. Yeah, okay, if you want to think that, but how is the one that decides whether you're a sinner or not you. Just because the man of sin is telling you that you're guiltless, he's guilty himself. So how is someone guilty gonna tell you you're innocent? He's guilty as well. You and him are gonna go in a lake of fire, especially if you're in America. Verse 15, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for Yahweh gave it her for a covering, and ultimately a woman's hair is a glory, man. That's what she cares about. Women, they care about just whatever they look like, man. They don't, whatever their majority of their thing is caring about what they look like. When women are in their early teens and they start to realize, oh, I think I'm attractive, they like to try and take their newfound beauty that they think they got out for a spin, and they just walk the streets randomly with no purpose. You see them over here in these societies, they just walk around with no purpose, looking up in people's face to see to see the range of what their beauty is. Then they do the same thing in their later teens as well. Then they do their thing in their early 20s. Then they do their thing for as long as they can after that, man. Then they might get to their 30s and now they start using all the anti-wrinkle creams, start using all these different things to try and keep young and look like what they looked like when they was in their 20s, right? Some of them will realize, damn, I should have did exercise when I was younger because now I'm getting too fat. And then when they finally realize that they can't keep up no more, now all of a sudden they was young and dumb, and now they want to try and start talking this and talking that, and they don't know what they're talking about. And they didn't ever take any time to fix the inward person, man. The inward man or the inward woman. They never took no time. And the day, I want to say this as well, man, the day of the Lord's wrath is going to be a heavy day of accountability for women in particular, man. For women in particular, they're going to really have a hell of a lot of accountability to deal with them, because all the societal things that kept them safe from accountability are going to be taken away. Those things are not going to be there no more, man. It's not going to be there. And they're going to have to now deal with the fact that they said they didn't need men's help for anything, because all the men are going to be struggling themselves. They ain't going to have it in them to care for what you're talking about. Everyone's going to be selfish in that time. And the men are going to be as equally as selfish as you women have been. And they ain't going to fall for none of the guilt trips. Or if a real man would give me his last tin of beans, he'll be like, well, fuck you. I'm not a real man then. Piss off. Yeah, I'll be a fake man then. And in fact, how many tins of beans you got? I want those. They ain't going to be, oh, baby, a real man will take care of all. And they ain't going to be saying none of that. They're not going to have it there to care, man. Because iniquity shall abound, and in that day, iniquity is going to really abound. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. People ain't going to care, man. Like, I don't think most of these people in the world, man, they haven't even been the target of someone's aggression before in their life. A lot of them, they've never even had somebody that's looking at them only, that physically wants to do them some serious damage, man. Never mind in the day of the Lord's wrath where everyone's looking at everyone like that. And the average woman hasn't ever had to physically, they talk all this, oh, I was the domestic, blah, 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 and all this, where they want to talk. They've never had to physically defend themselves, majority of people in this earth in general, from anything, man. And then if it does get physical, there's always been someone that they can run and cry to and play victim. In the day of the Lord's wrath, there's not going to be no victims for nothing. There's not going to be no such thing as a victim. There's going to be a get yours while you can. And let me get the prophecy, man. No one ain't going to be considered as an aggressor or a victim in that time. It's going to be everyone doing whatever they can do to get one more minute of peace, one more meal, man, one more little dreg of water. But people don't think that that's going to happen because they think it's a game still. A lot of you women have been too used to men simping. Men just thinking, oh man, all right, I'll just take her out for $500 date to try and get the cheeks, and then I'm a still bounce, but she's still gonna get a meal out of it at least. She'll get a meal out of it. I'm gonna get mine. Don't care if she gets hers, but she's gonna still get a $500 meal. Well, all right, I spent up $250 of it was my food as well, but she got $250 out of it as well. In the day of the Lord's wrath, the one ain't gonna get nothing out of it. And that means whatever you think it means, man. There's scriptures and prophecies related to all of that. But people think it's a game down here. People think, oh, nah, none of these things that have happened. Okay, think it, man. And I'm not saying that it's going to be no people that are Hebrew Israelites doing these things, but it's going to happen. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15, for the sword, in fact, verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So people ain't gonna recognize the hierarchy. Please, mate, stop stealing that food. I'm an officer. They be like, yo, and do I care? Don't you have a look around? There ain't no such thing as no officer. You ain't got you out your jurisdiction around here. They ain't gonna care. Oh, don't rob that woman's food. She's an old woman. Mate, I'm hungry. I'm stealing it. And you better not say anything else to me before I steal yours. That's how people are going to be thinking in their mind, man. Like, I don't think some of you people have actually like, we as Hebrew Israelites, man, we're not necessarily wicked people, man, but we've sinned. But I don't think the average any of you people can actually try and tap into the mind and the mentality of what somebody that's starving, literally barely got any food to eat, any water, and what kind of things they're going to think and what kind of mindset they're going to be in, man. They're not going to be nice. They're not going to care. Oh, but that's your neighbor. Mate, I invited you to all of my children's birthday parties. And that was back then. It's new rules now. Oh, Tone, it's me. Tone, it's me, mate. Remember, we had a barbecue last. We had They ain't gonna care, man. There ain't gonna be no Tone or no and short for Andy. Oh, mate, cheers, mate. There ain't gonna be no cheers, mate. Fair play and all that. There ain't gonna be no fair play, mate. In that time, there's gonna be I'm gonna rob whatever I can from you to make myself be able to live 1 hour longer, 1 day longer, 1 week longer, 1 month longer if I can hope. I'm gonna try and do whatever I can do to feel safe where I already have able to sustain myself. So if I'm thinking that group over there might try something in a few weeks when they run out of food, that's how these people are gonna think. They're gonna be like, I'm gonna do this to that person because I don't trust that they've got enough food rations. I've got enough food rations. But what happens when their food rations run out? Where they're gonna start looking? Because last week he came over and he said, I hope you've got enough waters, mate. And my stupid wife, she said, yeah, we're fine, we got loads. Stupid idiot. She shouldn't have told him nothing. I told her not to answer the door. That's the kind of mentality that's going to be active in that time. But some of you people, you can't think about nothing like that. You're thinking about going on a Jet2 holiday. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. That meme that's flying around. Most of y'all people are thinking about your Jet2 holiday. Oh, I'm going Magaluf, Shagaluf, and all that. You're thinking about all of that. You don't ever stop, ever, to think, man, what? And you've heard the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, and none of you ever think, man, if that's true, what does that mean for me? And you haven't even tried to think, man, what does that mean for me, and what could I do carnally? Some of you people, never mind spiritually. Some of you people haven't even stopped to think, man, what could I do carnally if that stuff did take place? Right, I'm gonna start at least going gym, and I might start some cardio so that I can run away from people, because I know I'm not the best at fighting. So I'm gonna at least be able to outrun the predator that's trying to get me. I'm gonna at least try and store up some tins of food. I'm gonna store up some waters. I'm gonna at least learn some basic survival tactics. I might at least learn how to barricade myself in. I might at least learn to be able to go without food and water for a couple of days. I might at least try and learn some of that, because then I'll be able to at least try and handle things. But some of you ain't even did that. Never mind spiritually. A lot of you Israelites, you're just stiff-necked and rigid. You haven't even ever, you're trying to say the Paleo Hebrew is fake and all of this, right? Says, okay, you want to make, you're saying that. But if when we go up to each other, we say Shalom Ak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Barakatam, and the other person will say whatever they say in response. How is that not a language? Like, literally, the first languages that came after during the Tower of Babel, where did them languages come from? Where did them languages come from? People started speaking completely different languages. Were them languages fake? And the same people that will say that language is fake, right, will see somebody speaking in so-called tongues and not even say anything, man. They won't even say, man, what the hell is that person doing? They're bugged out. No, they'll be like, yeah, I wonder, that's a bit fancy. I wonder what they look like they was in the spirit at that moment. They wouldn't say that's ridiculous. But they're quick to say something about us, though. You people are just hateful, man. You talk about how we hate. No, you hate, man. You hate to see anyone that's got the particular appearance of a so-called black man have belief in himself in anything. And if you was all honest, you would say that you just hope that we curl up into a hole in the ground and perish in there. You don't want us to. You complain if we don't have a job, but then if we have a job that's good, you complain then. You say that we're thugs and all of that, but when we're not thugs, then you complain and say we're stuck up and we're this and we're that. You complain that we're stupid, but then when we've been intelligent, you say we're uppity. You say we got a chip on our shoulder, but then you Edomites complain about how America ain't this and America ain't that, and the UK ain't this and the UK ain't that. You call us hateful, but then when people are crying about some October 7th, you saying they've got a right to defend themselves. But then if we defend ourselves, oh, nah, you ain't got the right to defend yourself. You say that we should do a DNA test, but then when other people say that they're Jews, they don't have to do a DNA test. Their DNA test, in your opinion, is saying my mother's one and putting on a circle hat on their head that's damn small, by the way, that Moses never wore, that Joseph never wore, that the 12 tribes of Israel never wore, Jacob, Abraham, and Isaac never wore that, Yahweh Shai never wore that, who you people call Jesus, he never wore that. John the Baptist never wore one of those on his head. So where that came from, who knows, man? That wearing that on your head proves that you're an Israelite as much as putting a jam donut on your head, man. That's how significant that is. Walking around with a jam donut on your head proves that you're an Israelite as much as wearing one of them stupid hat things on your head, man. That don't prove nothing. That proves absolutely nothing to do with being an Israelite. That's got nothing to do with being an Israelite. If that proves absolutely nothing, man. You people running up your mouth around here. Now let's get back on these women again, because they're running their mouth, trying to say that men about this and that about men. Well, prophecy speaks different, and maybe you women are gonna just be sailing off into the sunset without men. Because we as men, we want women to in the lifestyle that we're hoping for. Women are involved in it. The multiple wives thing involves women in there, But in the lifestyle that you women claim that you want, are men involved in that? Any of you women, if you come across this video, speak up, man. Say something then. The lifestyle that you desire, does it involve men? Even if you want to say, oh, not these men, okay, does it involve the men? What kind of man does it involve then? Because do you want to be able to have a child? Okay, that requires men. Okay, you don't want to have children. Okay, what do you want to do? Or whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. What does that mean? Like, what is it that you want to be? What is it that you're hoping to experience and receive from the earth? Or you want to be able to travel the world and go on holiday? Are the pilots going to be men when you go there? Are the workers going to be men? Are the people that designed and created the hotel going to be men? Are they? Is the bartender going to be a man? When you women are going out, dressing up, trying to get attention, who are you? Okay, you might say you're trying to get attention from women to try and prove you're the baddest bee and you're a boss queen and all that. Yeah? But the ultimate test of who's the best women are who the best men pick. Who you women out there think the best men are. That's the proved true test. Because if the best man picks a certain woman, she's better than you in his eyes. Simple as that. And all you women know it, but you're just not honest. And that's why you women are quick to try and sleep with another woman's husband, to try and prove to yourself, oh, she ain't better than me. I could sleep with her man if I wanted to. I just don't want to. I just don't feel like it. So then you'll try and throw your body at him, and of course he's gonna smash. If you got a thing that's round on it, of course he's gonna give you a little trial match. That don't mean he loves you though. That don't mean you're gonna get the same things from him that his wife's getting, does it? But y'all are too dumb to understand that. 2 Esdras chapter 16 and verse 33, the virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The bridegrooms are going to be men. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. The husbands are men. You understand? I know some of you studs out there, you think you're men because you look like a drill rapper. You're not a man. Right? And some of y'all are going to try and reinvent yourselves in the day of the Lord and try and start walking feminine. You're not going to know. You're going to try and turn that bops that you got. Where you try and throw your shoulders forward thinking that you're flipping Marshawn Lynch and that. And you're going to pattern up and try and start walking with a little swerve in them hips, and it's not going to work, man. And there's already rumors out there that some of you stud women are running around trying to deal with men anyway. So you're already frauds, aren't you? You may as well have just been like that from the beginning. Bug outs, man. The women shall mourn having no husbands. The daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Who are the people that would be the helpers? The men. You men are going to be mourning. So all this talk about women saying they don't need men and all of this, that's because men have been around helping you for so long that you think you don't need them, man. The Hebrew Israelites, when you read the Song of Moses, the Israelites, we thought we didn't need Yahweh. Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked, and that was the men and the women of the nation. It wasn't just the men. You women was there too, going off, man. And that's why y'all can't grow no hair, according to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. You walked around with stretched forth necks and one-ton eyes, mincing and tinkling as you go, and making a tinkling with your feet. Therefore, Yahweh smote you with a scab on your head top. And now your head top jam out. You can't grow hair. You can't grow hair. You can't grow hair. As much as you want to say you can, I've got long hair. What you so-called black women think is long hair is a short hair for any other race of women. That's what their hair would look like if they cut it and said, oh, I'm going for my hair short today. Or, oh, girl, you cut your hair. That's what some of you so-called black women will think is long hair, that you can touch your shoulder. That's what so-called black women think is long hair the majority of the time, man. Because the average so-called black woman can't grow hair, but it's not because your hair type 4C and all that 4C hair. It's not because of that it's being so bad. Because in the kingdom, there might be women with 4C hair. Well, there will be women with so-called 4C hair, but it's going to be long though. And they'll be able to do different kind of things with their hair because Yahweh's going to remove the curse of their hair from them. But how many of you women out there are even prepared to admit that there is a curse on the so-called black woman's hair because of their attitude? How many of you? Because I've not yet seen any, really. And I've looked. I've seen them somewhat mention that, oh yeah, this thing does prove that we're the Israelites, but I haven't seen them mention, yeah, and God cursed us with our hair. because our attitude stinks and we need to change it. I haven't seen y'all say that. Verse 34, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish with famine, because men are going to be unalived in the time of the Lord, man. But so are women going to be. And that the perishing of men in that time is going to also be a catalyst to show that there's certain men down here on this earth that are protected by something very powerful, right? Because there's going to be several of these men that women are going to initially start trusting. And oh, this guy, he's muscular, he's big, and he's strong, and yeah, he was able to beat up those marauders that tried to rob us the other day. But eventually, that man will fade out and he'll perish. But then there'll be a man that's just normal, average build, right, or even less or worse than average build, but he believes in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and for some reason he was able to escape all the situations that that man of strength and might was able to escape, and more situations. The situation that takes out the man that that woman initially trusted in because he was worldly looking, in whatever way that will be. The men of the Lord of the Yahweh's elect are going to escape from that situation as well. The situation that the faithless can handle, right? The men of the elect are going to handle that situation. But the situation that takes out the faithless, the men of the Yahweh's elect are going to be able to make it through that situation as well. And Yahweh might set up situations to show a difference between the two. In fact, I definitely believe he will do that, man. So that the men of the Yahweh's elect can be made more precious than fine gold in that time. A hell of a lot of men are going to perish in that time just to show the difference between the elect men and the normal ones, the non-elect, the people that don't believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that are Israelites, and the people that are heathens, and it wouldn't even matter what they believe, they're not even part of the covenant anyway. Certain faith is going to be shown in that time to prove that certain people that look like heathens are actually Israelites. But I wanted to just do this video anyway. The battery's about to go. I wanted to just do this video about how all you men out there that you say that you don't need men, can you women actually even get the lifestyle that you require without men? Because we can't as men, right? We as men desire things in the kingdom of heaven, and women are a part of that. We're desiring to build ourselves up to become a nation. A man might want to have 1,000 sons, man, right? That requires women, because women are the only ones that can give birth to those sons. So that requires women. But you women, that when it comes to the lifestyle that you desire and the things that you want, you try and make it like you can achieve it without men, and you can't. If you're being honest, if you're lying, then you can. But if you're being dishonest, then you can. I mean, if you're lying, you can do it without men. But if you're being honest, you can't do it without men, right? And I'm gonna end the video there, man. I just wanted to do a video on that, man, because it's a topic that aggravates me when I see people being liars about certain things like this, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Ba'Shem B'Kar Kodash. Shalom.